Thembisa Fakude is a senior research fellow at Africa-Asia Dialogues. He joins us now from Johannesburg to talk more about this. Thanks very much for being with us. So this does seem quite the turnaround for the RSF, doesn't it? Since this was the main reason that the conflict broke out. What do you think is going on?
Well, what I think is going on is that the RSF is on a back foot, because this is exactly what Abdel Fattah al-Burhan asked initially, and this is what triggered this current conflict when the rapid support forces refused to be integrated into the Sudanese forces. So now we see them saying that they want to be integrated after the General Burhan has said that they're going to be dissolved. So these are signs of an organization that's on back foot, and now I think they are much more desperate. We've seen the Americans also upping the ante in terms of sanctions against Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, the leader of the RSF. So the situation, I think, is becoming much more difficult for the RSF.
Is there a real prospect for an end to the conflict then?
Well, it looks like it. I think Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has been crisscrossing the Middle East. He was in Saudi Arabia, went to Egypt. Now we see him in Qatar, which means therefore that he's getting regional support. And I think the supporters of the RSF, the United Arab Emirates, are now again on a back foot as well. And I think they will likely to abandon their support for the RSF. So Abdel Fattah al-Burhan is in a much more stronger position. The fact that he will come in and utter those statements about the dissolving or basically dissolving the RSF means that he's in a much more stronger position, and I think we are likely therefore to see the RSF being integrated and Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo being isolated.
What provisions need to be put in place if the RSF is going to be fully integrated into the Sudanese army and not in the future become a force all by itself again?
Well, I think the one thing that has to be done is somehow, somewhere, someone must be willing to accept Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo or Hemeti, because I don't think Abdel Fattah al-Burhan will continue with the integration of the army as long as Hemeti is in Sudan. So you are likely to see Hemeti moving possibly to United Arab Emirates, which is the country that's been supporting him and his family. That's the first point that I think will happen. But again, the other thing that is key and has to be done with immediate effect is to convince the RSF, particularly the soldiers of RSF, that it's okay for them to be integrated. But I think it's going to be quite difficult for the Sudanese army to meet their financial conditions, because you know that they're well paid compared to the Sudanese army. They're well taken care of, and basically they act like a private army that has been servicing other countries, including Saudi Arabia at some point during their war with the Houthis in Yemen. So they'll have to be downgraded in terms of how much money they're getting right now. And the motivation, of course, that will be key in terms of how we'll have to see how Abdel Fattah al-Burhan will do in terms of motivating them and making sure that he keeps them loyal to his army.
Good to talk to you, Thembisa Fakude. Thank you.